Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Milan Weekly Podcast channel on a special edition of Milan Coast to Coast. Today, it's a club conversation. I got three of the best members of the Milan Club NYC here with me. My brothers from the club. We are going to have a quick conversation, get everybody's point of view of what's going on with Milan, the Curva ban, Max Allegri 2.0, how Todd is doing, all this and more. Let's go, fellas.
Milan Weekly Podcast presents Milan Coast to Coast with your host, Gio and Fabio.
Benvenuti nella casa
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a special edition of Milan Coast to Coast. It is the club conversation, starting off a special feature we're going to have here coming this season, and no club we could start with but the New York City Club. Let's bring this in here. Hold on one second. Where is this thing? There it is. What up, everybody? I'm Fabio. I'm joined by my brothers from the New York City Club. Pachi, first time here. Pachi, thank you for coming. Of course, everybody knows our friends Remo and Beppe here. But let's start with you, Pachi. How you doing tonight, brother?
I'm doing very well, my friend. I'm in fantasy soccer mode, so there's a little tension going on, but just looking at stats and stuff like that. So
Very nice, very nice. Remo, how you doing, baby? I know you look refreshed right now. How are you?
I'm good, Fabio. That power nap always helps, right? So I'm good though. I'm not stressed. I'm not stressed. Milan's not going to lose this weekend, so I'm not stressed about anything. I'm good.
Very nice, very nice. But Italy will keep you stressed tomorrow. Don't you worry about it. Beppe, how are you, brother? We had to rip you away from work, but we appreciate you taking your time, brother.
I'm good. If you guys see me look at something else, I'm just making sure nobody falls off the scaffolds, but I'm okay.
All right. Well, listen, guys. Let's get right into it, man. And we'll start with you, Pachi. It's been 2 seasons in, so you have a little bit of a small sample size of maybe what's to come this season. But I ask you, from what you've seen with the Mercato now closed up, what are your thoughts in regards to Milan right now?
I'm honestly, I was talking about it with my father the other day because he was looking at me to give him some semblance of an answer about this Mercato strategy. And I said, look, I've been watching soccer for 30 plus years of my life. I have no idea what we were doing. I have no clue. It just doesn't make a lot of sense. Last couple hours of the Mercato, we go pick up a 2006, a kid, a center back from Germany that has played a total of 3 games in Bundesliga in his life. And we're going to throw him in with a pack of other center backs that have very little international experience and never really led a defense. And all this, we lost probably our best fullback, although I did agree that letting go of Theo was the right time and it was the right moment and fine. But you don't buy anybody else because you have faith in Jimenez, who you sell to Bournemouth with 48 hours till the end of. I
was a little surprised with Jimenez having to be sold, but then again, you hear those reports of, being constantly late, which is very, that's not being a professional. If you're constantly being late and you're fairly young, you don't really have the cachet to be doing all stuff like that. And it's a new coach. You think you want to get under his good graces, but doesn't seem to be. But let me ask you, Remo, from what you've seen, regards to, obviously we've done pretty good in collecting cash, right? People, especially people on Twitter, they love to mention how much money we've made. But in regards to everything with the Mercato and Tade actually having a sporting director, how do you feel we've done so far?
Well, I think it's like you said, Fabio, like collecting the cash. That's why it's almost like 2 grades, right? Mercato coming in and Mercato going out. It's almost like you got to treat them like separately at this point because of the way we've gone about the business. Like, I think we offloaded like 22 players or something.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. Some made sense, and like Fabio, like Pachi just said, some don't make a lot of sense at the last minute. It seems like it was kind of haphazard. Wasn't really part of the plan. It's not clear, right? Because I understand offloading some of those guys, but like they waited till the last minute for some, and I mean, I know even like Malik Chow, they got a nice amount of money for him, but like Allegri wanted to keep him, right? So basically, he was overruled. Like he's like, no, he's going. I get it based on the amount, but then I look back at the beginning of the Mercato. We sold Reinders, and I thought, okay, I hate that they did this, but I understand why they did this because we didn't make Europa League, we didn't make Champions, we're in the toilet, we have no money, so they gotta cash this guy out to make transactions. But then I'm like looking at what we did overall, plus or minus. You say, well, why did we have to sell him for 55 million, which wasn't a huge amount? Now you look at right, Nkunku was like 37. Yashari was like 36, and you're like, okay.
And plus, after that first week, it looks like we gave him a discount, and the way Rangers looked and the way they looked.
So it's like it's not like the sum of it's kind of not adding up overall. Like I mean, I like what they did with the midfield, but like other areas, it's just very random. It seems and very like no plan B. Like when plan A fell through, they didn't know what the hell they were doing. They just kind of randomly picked guys. I don't know. That's what it feels like.
Yeah, I would agree. Beppe, what are your thoughts on regarding Tade and the Mercato so far? Obviously, it feels like, okay, you lose Reindeers, you somewhat solidify getting some good pieces in the midfield with Modric, Jashari, Ricci. But where's the reinforcement for the defensive side of the ball? Where's the reinforcement for the striker? I mean, we are shopping our striker mid-game. It's getting crazy at this point. What are your thoughts?
We could have a freaking 4-hour show about this when it came because I could start with the fact that this team had Manchester City literally begging them, please give us Rangers before this fucking World Cup. Right. There you go. 55 million.
Exactly.
You know what? You want them now? Give me 90 million.
Yep.
Exactly. You want them later? Maybe I give it. You want them now? 90 million. That's how it is. You're Manchester City. You guys overspend. That's what the guy that got the Liverpool got 120 million for Isaac. What the fuck is that? 120 million pounds. So you're giving stupid money to players. I think Rangers is better than that. But then you're selling a bunch of players. Yeah, I get that you're in deficit. You need to make money. I understand. But like you bought players that you could Leone go to Liverpool for 35 million when you needed a defender. Why did you get rid of a bunch of players and you signed a bunch of scrubs that made up more than that money that you would have spent on Leone?
Exactly.
Nobody knows nothing.
That was my point, Beth, but yeah.
Nobody knows nothing. Camarda can't play. No problem. Let's give him to Lecce. Oh, let's get a 20-year-old fucking harder. What? Thank God these things didn't happen. You went after him. You wasted a month and a half to sign Yashari. So you basically, everybody played hardball with you. Oilund, harder. Fucking missed the one that got I don't know what happened to him. Maybe he met a butcher when he got operated. Boniface.
Oh, Boniface.
Like something out of the fucking. It looks like he met a green meat grinder on his fucking knee. Like you went after all these players when all you had to do was go after Vlahovic. I don't give a fuck that he's making 12 million. I don't care. You're doing it for 1 year. It's a trial. Then you restructure his contract. Big fucking. We're paying Origi for God's sakes. Who cares?
That's true.
That's my man.
We can't get him off our books. We can't get him off the books.
So again, you made $200 million in
sales,
in whatever, but you sold 22, and you subtracted 22 to add only 10. So I'm sorry if you want me to give you a grade, if it's number grade, it's a 5. Because you didn't really do,
especially the end. I think the end definitely makes it look like we were scrambling there.
Yeah.
To talk about not even A, B, or C option. We're pulling people out of the hat at this point, and we really had no feeling like it just said. And we've all been watching Milan. Some of you guys for 30 plus years, me 25 years, but we remember when Milan was able to go after people's best player. And now we are buying from the garbage bin. It's not even your starter. We're taking your bench player who can't get time. It's very pathetic.
Fabio, you could have gotten creative though, because you made enough money. Like you didn't think you were gonna get that money for Chow.
But that's why I thought we got Tade. That's why I thought we got Tade.
But Tade, you could see that Tade is there because Tade is selling like a champ. The problem is, and I'm sorry, and I don't give a fuck if he's watching it because I have nothing people got to be held accountable. If Fulani's watching this, I know his fucking fingers are all over this because every
Absolutely.
time he
He's the
tries to
CEO.
get somebody, every time he tries to get somebody, he
Yeah.
always has to put the kibosh on whatever it is. Whether it's coaches, he's always involved. And now the latest rumor, which I don't know if it's true, is that Galliani may not come. They say
Because of him.
but probably because of him. It's not Scaroni, it's him. He's a little troll, has too much say that nobody else. So you want it? If I'm Tari, I'm like, you wanted me here to be accountable, right? Because it's my ass on the line. After you're gonna blame me, so let me do my job, not just to sell. Don't make you look good to get you out of the fucking deficit for Champions League. But let me actually buy the players that I could buy. Maybe these people that he got, maybe he found gems because he's done that a lot here. But we don't know for sure.
Mhm.
Look, one guy already got hurt.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
also,
I mean,
the Bonifacio thing was a little embarrassing too. Honestly, let's face it. Like with he went through 4 rounds of medicals. He passed, and then we had to take a day to evaluate.
Well,
Well, because honestly, I have to say, Leverkusen was pulling a pretty good trick for a German team. I was like, well done. They had to get one of the biggest orthopedists back from where he was.
He was on vacation.
On holiday.
They called him
Yeah,
back.
and I know the guy, so trust me, he wasn't happy because my father knows him pretty well. And he came over, had to go through that, and he literally said, "Are you kidding me?" Because they were trying to hide some major ligament injuries.
No, it's good we didn't go through with it. I'm just saying, like the.
So honestly, I think we did a good job with that.
No, that was fine. It was just a weird situation. But but Pachi, what was our plan B if that fell through? I don't think we had one. That was my point.
That's my problem.
Harder.
There's
Yeah.
no
harder.
plan B. But there's no
Harder.
plan B. Look at Jimenez. We give Jimenez
Yeah.
away because he's always late. I'm fine. Discipline problems, perfect. We sell him well. There's nobody ready to take his place. We have to go to Getafe and kind of figure out if we can get their fullback, but maybe he cannot leave until Getafe gets another one. You didn't make any plans
And you
the
know what's
moment you
the
decided
twist?
to let him go?
And you know what's the twist? The funniest thing, which became the funniest one. You know what wound up being the biggest money-wise move that we made? Was for a guy that we had no business taking because we needed a forward and we got somebody that was basically Leao 2.0.
I agree with you. That's
So
his position.
explain to me. There's no logic. Like
And Chelsea
make
was
him-
more than happy. Chelsea was more than happy to sell him to us.
I
don't know.
mean, legitimately, how many strikers do we have? We have one. He's going to use Rafa as a striker, and
Right.
Jimenez is going to be his backup. That is seems to be the plan. I don't know where Nkunku, whatever his name is, fits in, but as we heard from the presser, it seems Allegri doesn't know where he fits in either, which then starts to kind of wonder, are they having conversations before they're pulling the trigger on these things? Because if the coach is perplexed on how he's going to use the guy and comes out and publicly says it, that is a strange look, man. That is a
I
strange
think they
That's
want
what-
to
that's
get
what I'm saying.
creative with Leao. He's trying to get creative with Leao, which I think is a big mistake. Leao is good what he is as
I
a
agree.
winger. Don't make him a forward. Don't turn him into a number 9. You're not going to be able to. I don't think it's going to work.
Guys, they told Allegri, this is what you have to work with, and this is the way it's going to be. And that's it. Because you could tell, okay, he got Rabiot at the end, but like I said, Chow, he wanted to keep Chow. They sold him. Like they're basically telling him, this is a team and figure it out. Like, I don't think Allegri has a lot of inputs at all, to be honest. Again, Rabiot is maybe the only exception because he was able to get him at the end. But, and then, like you said, they brought Tare in, but Furlan is running it. And Ibra's just sitting around doing, scratching his balls, not doing anything. What the fuck is Ibra doing?
he's a publicity stunt.
Right, exactly.
They wanted the figure to replace Maldini, but that was the big mistake.
Right, but when they brought in Tare, they didn't let Ibra go. They kept him as like a little bobblehead doll, right, for the front office, basically. Like that's what right? But like who's called, Bepp's right. Fulani's calling the shots, even though Tare is for the sale, but Fulani's making the last decision. The final decision.
Pachi, what's final thoughts on this particular part before we move on? Like, do you think Tade did? What's your grade? I know it was Beppe said 5, but do you think it was a big mistake on not solidifying a second striker? Like the whole possibly shipping out to switch him with Dobrik of Roma. What the hell was that about? It's just so confusing. What are your final thoughts here on this
So
topic?
just, I mean, final considerations. As Beppe said, 5. I would say mine is probably a little higher than that. I would say 6, but not higher than 6. An average team in Serie A is between 23 and 25 players when they're not participating in any cup, right? We're participating in 3, technically. So Coppa Italia, Supercoppa, Campionato, that kind of stuff. We have 19 players if you take away our 3 goalkeepers. It's never going to be enough. So if somebody gets injured, we don't have anybody else to replace him. So frankly, I think Tare did everything he needed to do, to be honest. And if he had had somebody like he did at Lazio and that would let him just do his job, we probably would have had 24, 25 players now, but we don't. And that's okay. So I'm going to close by saying this. I'm going to throw you this, and this is a bit of a, bit of a bomb, but I think it's kind of fun. Before he moved to Chelsea, Nkunku was not playing as a trequartista. He was actually playing where Jimenez is playing. So here's my provocation of the day. What if we're going to see him all the way on the side in the 5 in midfield? So taking Jimenez's place.
Really?
I thought about it the other
in
day.
regards of, instead of playing, you're saying like instead of maybe Estupiñán or even Salamanca's at the point,
Correct.
we could be playing in Nkunku there. That's interesting.
Instead of Salamanca's,
I've seen a lot where they seem to be moving away from this 3-5-2 to maybe a 3-4-3 or some sort of variation of a 3-4-2-1 kind of deal. Where he fits in, I'm not quite sure, but this man didn't really know. And if he doesn't know, I think we're all fucked. So let's move to the next topic, which is 2.0 Allegri. The madman is back. And before before Musa got shifted out, we had to get one more. Calma! That was a great little scene right there that we got to, clip, and we have that. But I have to start with Remo. And I don't know if we could say Remo was a Pioli apologist. He sure as hell wasn't apologizing for any of the Portuguese coaches last year. But you have thoughts about Allegri, and we gotta crack into it first. So what do you think, man? I know he was probably one of the least of the options you wanted to see.
I got bad thoughts most of the time, but I'm trying to come around, as a self-proclaimed Pioli loyalist. Look, everybody knows I don't like the guy, but I don't like it. I just don't like his personality. Honestly, I don't like the way he is. I do find the memes entertaining, right? I mean, he has those moments. Having said that, look, I do get why they brought him in, and I understand why they brought him in. And granted, we've talked about this a lot. He really was tactically speaking, probably one of the better options available. I just thought they were going to go with like a younger coach, to be honest, but that was my thought. But again, I understand why they brought him in, to kind of reset the environment. If he does what he's supposed to do, which is what he did in the last game, which is pragmatist approach. You get me the 1-0, you get me the 2-0, then you defend. I don't, it might be ugly, it might not be ugly, but we get the points. I mean, if that's how it's going to be, I'm fine with that. Right, the first game wasn't a great example of that. I understand players were probably nervous or whatever, but
my favorite line from the bar that day, Remo, was you saying, "Hey, you guys promised me ugly wins, not 2-1 loss."
Right, I was promised shitty football, right? Winning 1-0, defending for 90 minutes. I'm like, give me this shit. Give me what I was fucking promised. I mean, again, it's early on, so I'm willing to give him the benefit of the doubt, and I would say at the end of the day, it doesn't matter that I don't like the guy. I want Milan to win. I don't give a shit about that, right? So it's like, but if he gives, I think one of the things he has to do though is instill that mentality, because for a couple of years now we've lacked a little bit of that killer instinct, that mentality. So he's got to bring the tactics, but he's got to bring that like fire, man. Like these guys got to get fired up, not just for the derby, not just for big games, Supercoppa. They got to get fired up when they play Cremonese, when they play Lecce, when they play these teams that are out for blood. We got to go out and kill the game. We got to be mentally strong in the game, and he's got to give that. That's what he has to transmit to the players, I think. But
yeah, no, 100%, man, 100%. Pepe, what's your thoughts on Allegri 2.0 after 2 games so far and some preseason?
In Italy, we always have this thing that la minestra è scaldata. Never
Yeah.
works.
Steve
and
loves to say that. Steve loves to say that.
And in
I brought
Milan,
that up too. I brought that up.
and in Milan's history, the great returns have never worked.
Never. Yeah.
However, given the picking, like what we had to pick from, I think it was the best solution, and I think Allegri will better the team. I don't know if he could work miracles with that defense, because I don't like the defense at all. I know that's what he's known for. He's good at making the defense a lot better. That's why we say the 1-0 games and whatever. I don't know if he could make. I mean, they may have to go to Lourdes to see the Virgin Mary, because I don't know what the hell. But great return.
Luca.
Yeah. What, Luca?
Luca said, "Is Allegri really a great return, though?"
Well, guess what? Not for nothing, the pedigree speaks for itself. I don't care what the teams that he had. He's won on his first year with Milan. He's won Scudetti left and right with Juve. He went to two Champions League finals. The guy, if you knock the pedigree, I mean, it's
he
like,
yelled at Musa. He yelled at Musa.
Come on. That was the best. And what's funny is the guy actually wanted to keep Musa.
Right.
He wanted to keep Musa and Chow. Imagine we're like, he's like, are you serious?
Maybe that was the straw that broke the camel's back. You know,
That's what I'm saying.
he couldn't control himself.
He has no control over any of that. That's why.
But Pachi, what's your thoughts on Allegri, man?
Well, I agree with everything Beppe and Ale said, basically. It's complicated to judge it. Minestra riscaldata almost never works. I agree. Yeah. I am terrified by that defense. But I'm terrified by a coach that says, I need a center back that can see the danger coming. I think seeing the danger coming is generally better if you look at the ball when somebody's crossing it. That's generally better. You can see the danger from there. So I'm a little scared by that. I'm scared that we didn't get a center back that it works the way Allegri works. So Akanji would have been phenomenal, but I understand we don't do Champions League, and he wanted to play Champions League. So
we don't do that here. We don't do
that. We don't do things during the weekend. We would just do it on weekend. But no, I agree. I agree with Beppe and Ale. I'm a little confused and a little concerned. I do believe he will grow a lot of the players. And I can see that in some players already. I can see Saelemaekers already finding his way. I think Modric is going to be a giant help in midfield. I haven't seen a guy play like that since Pirlo. Even when we were losing it, I was staring at him, even in the moments where things were complicated. And I was like,
it's nice to see a 40-year-old thriving, right?
I was like, that's amazing. Yeah, that's also true. Like I pull a muscle if I open my bathroom door. So I look at him and I'm like, somebody who plays with intelligence. Somebody stops the ball, looks around, starts again.
You can't tell if he's that good, if he's just that good, or if the Serie A is really that bad that a 40-year-old is running circles without breaking a sweat.
I think it's both. It's both things. My only thing is when they subbed him out and he looked up, I was like, please don't leave.
Yeah, he had that face of like, oh, Jesus fucking Christ, what did I sign up
for? I think he did. Yeah.
But you know what? I think everybody had that face at the end of the first game. And one of the things that I could say, I think that's been a detriment, even when we look back at that first game, is the situation with the Curva. I think, again, it's one of those things that there's pieces on both sides that you could say, all right, I see this point. All right, I see that. But when I think about it purely, I guess the North American in me, right, is that the most important thing and what the Curva provides to the fan base and to the experience of going to the San Siro is something that I would say, if you want your product still to be, what it is, and that experience, that overall feeling, even intimidating the players coming in, without those guys there, with all their faults and everything else that comes along with them, I think as a business, you need to find a way to make a deal and make these guys. I know it's like bigger than that, and we're going to start with you and your thoughts on this, Pachi. But I know it's bigger in regards because it's kind of the city trying to impose these rules, I believe. And I'm sorry, let's not act like these guys don't have power in Serie A. They don't have power in Milan, that they can't go and say, look, we understand you want to crack down on the few bad people that have been doing this. Maybe they needed to do a better job policing, but you are severely hurting the product. And if you're looking at like everything is a business, I'm trying to make money, I want to make as much money as I can, well, then you don't go out there and let's say what they are, guys, because as North Americans, season ticket holders are a big deal. You wouldn't want to say, hey, we're going to start your most passionate season ticket holders we're going to prevent them from coming in. We're going to prevent them from waving their flags that have nothing really to do. They're like one of the videos they said, it's not like, they're waving a flag that has something profane on it. Like you can't wave the Barese flag or something. Like, this is getting ridiculous. So, Pachi, you spent many years in the Curva, living in Milano. What are your thoughts, being that now you're on this side of the ocean and everything going on there? What are your thoughts, brother?
Well, things changed a lot since I was there. We had Brigate Rossonere, we had the Fossa dei Leoni, we had people that would interact with each other and talk to each other. We also had people at AC Milan that would interact with the Curva leaders and understand what was going on and talking about ticket prices and season tickets and going to Europe and all that kind of stuff. Now I feel like there's a lot of stuff that is brewing together in the pot. One of them is the political theater by the city of Milan that suddenly wants to crack down on stuff. We haven't cracked down on anything in 40 years. It's just political theater. Nothing's going to happen. The police has to do a better job, particularly when it comes to DASPO and stuff like that. It's not easy to understand what the rules are around it, to be frank. The Curva could be a safer place, but it's been getting safer and safer over the years. I have to say that. It wasn't like that when I used to go there. You couldn't bring kids in the Curva. It was impossible to even think about that. There is no San Siro without the Curva. I don't understand why we're even debating it. There's no point. The season ticket holders in Curva do get a better pricing. That's true. But what are you trying to do? Sell those tickets to who? To corporations that bring in their clients and stuff? It's never going to happen. It's never going to have the same atmosphere. And it's never going to be the same San Siro. That's why I'm totally confused. But we've seen very confusing things over there over the years with this management when it comes to the way they deal with San Siro. I mean, I was there when they did a whole chips commercial with Thierry Henry, and half of the people there didn't know what the hell was going on because the whole concept was based in North America. And I was like, these guys are from Milan. They can't follow what you guys are saying. They're word plays that they don't get in English. I don't know what you're trying to do. So that's a bit of the Curva side too. The Curva is a little angry about turning this into Piazza Duomo. That's what they call it because of all the tourists coming in.
Yes.
I feel like it's very delicate. We need Galliani to come in and do the Galliani thing.
I think that is probably the best way of putting that atmosphere. And we had a better atmosphere, which we usually have a great atmosphere at the Football Factory, but we were louder than any of the crowd at the San Siro was. Actually, the only people that were louder than us were the Cremonese fans, which was so pathetic to even think. But Remo, I ask you, man, what are your thoughts on everything? I mean, the Curva and the whole situation, what do you want to see happen? What do you think should happen, should I say?
I mean, it's kind of a mess, obviously. You need a mediator to come in and resolve it. But, you're saying about the bar. I was talking to Fabrizio at the bar. Shout out to Fabrizio, who was at the game. So he was one of our club members who was at the first game. And he was saying it was like a really surreal type atmosphere. He even witnessed, like, at one point, he witnessed the rest of the stadium, not the Curva, but those stadiums, like trying to do songs and trying to do chants, and the Curva guys are like, "Shut the fuck up, stai zitto, non cantare." Like, basically, like, can you believe that? Can you imagine, like, the rest of Curva not singing, the rest of the stadium trying to kind of get organized and do a song, and then Curva being like, whistling the people, and it's like, what the heck is going on here? Like, it's like mayhem. I mean, I kind of feel bad for the players, honestly, because, like, in the end of the day, like, it's really not their fault, right? None of this shit is the players' fault. They're the ones who suffer. But like you said, it's part of Milanismo. It's part of the product of the stadium. Like, you take that away, like, they got to figure out a way to make it work. That's what, like, if you remove it, you're basically like spitting on your own fan base to a certain extent. Right? They have to figure something out. I mean, what worries me is that Jerry just cares about butts in the seats, right? So, like, when they had 75,000 people for Milan Bari, like, granted the tickets were cheap, €5, right? But I think all he cares about is as long as there's butts in the seats, he doesn't care that they're the Curva Sud butts, like whoever's willing to pay. But that's that's a sacred thing. Like they need to figure that out. I don't know. It's very disappointing at this point. But you saw it when they traveled to Lecce, they had the tifo, right? They had the tifo because they can do it there. It's so that's if you think about that,
it just doesn't make sense. Then that like it's even worse. It doesn't make sense. Beppe, can you imagine that you're a business owner and you're like, I want to take my clients, I'm going to bring them to the San Siro and they have to go use the bathroom at the San Siro. Like this is like oh my God.
Might as well squat in your own seat, you burrow. It's the same thing.
Beppe, what's your thoughts with the Curva and everything going on?
My thought is, unfortunately, I know I'm going to get a lot of grief from people because most of the people
I like it.
Are going to be North Americans, but this is unfortunately what happens when the Americans try and change things around. Look what's happening at Madison Square Garden. If I make you an example, people got corporate, went all over. You go to Ranger games there, you can't afford to go there. Over here they do it with pricing. Like go to a Knicks game, go to Yankee Stadium when they moved to the new stadium. Everybody got priced out. Now you're doing it a different way. You'd rather have tourists because Madison Square Garden for the NBA, it's the equivalent of you going to a Broadway show when you come here. You got to go to the Garden to watch an NBA game because it's just something to do. You're not a fan, but you got to be there. What happened with all these people? Come on, people in the Curva wearing fucking jerseys that weren't even Milan jerseys. That's unheard of. And why you allow that? Because over here, unfortunately, which it's a good and it's bad. I like the fact that you separate people that can be civil because you have the Juve fans in one spot, Milan fans in another spot, or whatever it is. Over here, Yankees and Red Sox, Cowboys and Eagles, they hate each other, but they'll sit together drinking right next to each other. They'll fight occasionally and they'll take them out. But the point is, it's becoming a tourist thing. And that's why I say I feel bad because I don't want to sound like the one because I'm Italian, but I know all my friends go there as tourists. They should all experience a game for their team. It's not fair. But everything has got to have a limit because you got to understand, you got to read the room. You got to understand that Italy is not the United States. You got to have a little bit of a pulse on the culture there. The Ultras is a good culture. The stuff that was happening in the 80s and 90s doesn't happen no more, but you need that spectacle. Come on. But you love to post that spectacle on social media, right? You love the choreography and the tifo. So when it's convenient for you, you use the Curva. So you gotta, again, this is one more thing that Jerry doesn't have the pulse on the team. He doesn't understand that we cannot just, because we want to Scudetto in 22, they'll be good for the next 5 years because it's okay here. Here you say, I won 4 years ago. It's okay. Like you have to know what you got yourself into. I'm sorry. And I know you're joking.
I think we all know Jerry had no idea what he got. He knew nothing about the club. How he came up to the idea of buying us is baffling.
But I mean, Beppe's friend Giorgio Furlani, he's not American. he was born 5 minutes away from Viale Monterosa. That's about 5 minutes away from San Siro.
But he sounds like a yes man, which is what Jerry
unfortunately
wanted.
I think you're right because
that's why he's not leaving. That's why he's not leaving.
It's
Elliot's
sad.
Spy. He's Elliot's spy. That's what it is.
Just one thing I think though they need to do, right? Part of to resolve this, they need to address the AIMC thing, which they're trying to do. So if you guys don't know that, right? They basically have a racket on the club tickets, right? And I think that's part of the problem. They're addressing that problem through the Curva and saying, okay, we're going to make the Curva just open sale tickets. You got to go buy your tickets instead of doing by club, in an organized fashion, right? So, I mean, there is a racket, right, to be fair, around those tickets because how come some Milan clubs get X number of tickets allocated, other clubs get X number of tickets allocated, right, with the ones that sit in Curva Sud versus the ones that don't. That's something that they do have to address as part of it because that's essentially a problem, right? That causes us issues to get tickets even in another area of the stadium. So, I mean, but I think, again, like you guys said, they don't understand the pulse of it. They gotta eliminate the bad apples and just, figure out how to do that. And then just, because what's San Siro without the quality, the tifo, the banners, the fight, like other stadiums in Italy, like they have the tifo and they've been able to sort out how to do it, right? How to keep those elements separate. Like I don't know. It seems like they just don't. We need I give Galliani the mediator. We need the great mediator to.
But it seems like maybe he can't leave or doesn't want to leave Monza just yet, and that seems to be one of the things that I was reading. But let's get all right. So obviously, with last thing just said, we need the Curva back. It's super important. We have huge games coming at the end of September and the beginning of October. I would hate to again. I know. I think we're home for Napoli, but we are away at Juve, I believe. But these type of games, this is where they make their choreography. They make their great displays, and you're robbing every fan who doesn't get the benefit of living 20 minutes from the stadium, who has to plan so far ahead to go to the stadium to watch these games, from having the atmosphere that they deserve to be there. And I wish it was the case that they could separate the two and the Curva would still be out there and doing exactly what they do. But this goddamn Jerry and the Americans really giving us a bad look here. But all right, so the last topic we're going to touch here is just kind of what we expect this year and maybe a little bit of what we're hoping in regards to the New York City club. So, Pach, we'll start with you here, brother. What are you hoping for Milan, and is there anything in regards to the club that you're hoping, I know Franco will probably kill us if we say anything out loud that we're not supposed to. But is there anything club-wise that that you hope to see? Obviously, we have tons of supporters who stop by. One of the benefits of being in the middle of Midtown Manhattan. But what are your expectations of Milan in the club this year?
I mean, I don't. It's not really expectations, but let's start with the team. I would say top 4 would be great. I think that's pretty much where I'm going to stay, because I feel like with all the investment we made, 19 players, they're all young, Allegri, new coach, I'm fine with top 4. As a club, honestly, I have to say I've been really enjoying people from other clubs around the world or in Italy coming over to us and chatting and doing the whole exchange of the shirt or the scarf, and I really would like that to keep happening. So if any of you guys are watching this or listening to this and you want to come over to Legends, please come over to Legends. And the other thing that I really would like to do is I would like to organize more events. And I know Franco's going to kill me or shoot me, but I really would like to organize more events, because I feel like we had something going that was awesome, and it's still going and it's still in the works. And I wish it's probably on me. I have to probably, call Peter every morning at 9 a.m. and go, "How you doing? Did you think of me last night?" But I'm definitely gonna push for them a little more, and maybe it's a little bit more fair now that I am here, so I can help instead of leaving Franco with the event.
I love it. I know Franco's gonna listen to this and go, "You motherfuckers,
yes,
you motherfucker." But I love asking this to Remo, because Remo, God, I must have known Franco through text messages for a year, but the only person I ever met was Remo every time I went to the club. And it's great because we've had such a bond now for like 3-4 years of going to the club. Yeah. But Remo, I mean, I know you're probably going to be around the same place in regards to Pachi in expectations for Milan. But are you hoping, is there a place in Remo's mind that could tolerate maybe Allegri could take us to the promised land? Is it possible, or are you the same top 4?
I mean, I think top 4 is minimum, right? Get back to Champions League. That was the mandate that he was given too. So minimo obiettivo, top 4. But hey, like I said, give me those 1-0s every week. Give me those 3 points every week. I'm going to start to become a believer, right? So I don't know if we're Scudetto material this year. It's hard when you change 19 players, right? Like, that's something that we can't do every year either, right? You can't like recycle the entire squad, basically. Like, so if we're resetting, if this is year 0 again, and we're resetting the squad, like we said, we got some young players. Like, we need to build on the same core for 2, 3, 4, 5 years. You can't every year do fire sale of like 18 guys, right? And then I don't know, but let's see if this is beginning. Top 4 would be nice. It'd be nice to win the Super Copa again. Why not? I don't know, something like I don't know. I'm kind of tired of like getting shit on in Coppa Italia. I thought we were gonna win it last year. I really thought we were gonna win it, and then we just shit the bed and didn't show up in the final. I mean, can we just win this fucking trophy once, like in every 25 years? Like, can we just like I don't know. So that's it. I mean, the bar will always be there, right? I think, like Pachi said, it's great when the people come through. I think we've seen even more diversity of clubs, Italy, but also outside of Italy. Even people in the States, like all learning about us, coming to the bar, coming to see us. So it's been good. Keep that going. Like, I have no doubt that the club. We already got some new members the first game, so new additions. So we're gonna keep it growing. It'll keep growing. So
I love it. And most likely, even when the other 3 of us can't be there, Remo is usually there. So
100%.
that's the best part. All right, Beppe, come on. I know you're gonna do it. Give us that ice cold glass of water and bring us all back down to reality. Because Beppe, I know he's dying to do it.
Bring us back to Earth. Bring us back.
I
what
think
do you
right,
think,
right
bro?
now, from where we're standing, I will say, obviously, I would love to go back to Champions League, so at least we don't have players that fucking reject us. Like, nobody's reject us to come here. But right now, the way I see it, I got to see more because you can't really judge by 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And I say fourth or fifth place from where I'm seeing it right now. More fifth than fourth because I still got to see how Roma is really going to do. Is Roma the real deal with Gasperini? Is Juve the real deal? Because I don't like the team, but it could be that they're going to turn right. And then Napoli and Inter are always going to be there. So you're talking about Napoli, Inter, Juve, and Roma. So
it sounds like we're on the outside looking in.
That's what I mean. So I don't know. I'm hoping that we could always take one of them, and it's going to have to be the Roma Juve. One of the 2.
Yeah.
Because I don't see how Napoli and Inter drop from that spot. But other than that,
hey, we could see another Udinese every week. All right, guys, let's not get so hyped. Inter can come right back down to reality. You never know.
But as far as the club, I'm actually happy because I looked at the new times, and fingers crossed.
That's true.
I may actually be able to make way more games than I've done because this time when it slowed down, there was always 9 a.m. games. Friday games, Saturday games.
Friday games are coming. Don't worry.
The game times.
So I'm actually happy, which means people could make the games more. You could actually have bigger crowds on Saturday games and Sunday 2:45 games.
I like the Sunday 2:45. We avoid the English crowd a little bit. No
That's
offense.
true.
Right.
That's true.
Exactly.
Good.
At least we see each other. We see each other in misery, and we get to control Remo.
Yes, listen, I don't really want the misery, but at least I'm happy to be with you guys, so we can kind of soften the blow when things don't go well.
Hey, listen,
because you guys have seen me at the bar.
Wins,
I look like I'm lost.
Listen, 1-0 wins at the 92nd minute. I'm all for it. If I gotta suffer for 91 minutes to get the one,
give me
goal,
the 3 points.
Sign me up.
3 points then.
Nice.
All right, fellas. Guys, thank you so much for joining me here. Of course, Pachi, Remo, and Beppe. If you want to see us live, come to the one place that you could always see us. Look, it's even the background. I made sure to make us feel like we're home right in front of the display in the Football Factory at the Legends. 33rd and 5th Avenue, people. Who's going to be the next club on the club conversation? I don't know, but stay tuned because in the next couple of weeks, I might be interviewing one of your clubs. Reach out if you want to be a part of this. Guys, if you haven't already, please do us a favor. Number one thing we always ask, if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you're up to date with all the times we're dropping live videos and new videos. Smash the like button, leave a comment if you're watching this later. And, of course, if you want to support the channel, follow us on Patreon. Of course, that's the best way to support the channel. Guys, always a pleasure. Ovunque e sempre. Forza Milan!
Forza Milan!
Peace out, everybody. Good night.
Take care, guys.